Do you love waking up early in the morning, struggling to figure out what to do with your hair? We've all had our share of bad hair days. Are you ready for a change? Lock it and love it with Lock and Love Salon, conveniently located at 8117 Liberty Road, Windsor Mills, Maryland. Start your lock journey today. Lock and Love's professional services and artistic designs will keep you blazing in the hottest trends while maintaining and protecting your hair. Honey, Lock and Love is an experience. Once you try Lock and Love Salon, you won't try anyone else. Lock and Love offers starter and maintenance locks, fox locks, detox, shampooing and conditioning, lock treatment, lock extension, coloring, and much more. Sorry, but Lock and Love doesn't accept walk-ins. What are you waiting for? Call 410-970-3791 to set up your appointment today. Lock and Love is on Facebook, so remember to like, follow, and share.
Hey, it is your girl, Pusher. You know what I always say, if you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say that thing out loud. Forward, ever, backwards, never. No, really. Say it out loud. I'm not just telling you to say it just to be saying it. No, forward, ever, backwards, never. When you say that thing like you mean it, it travels internally and it takes root and you stand in it wholeheartedly. Forward, ever, backwards, never. Hey, do you got your copy of It Takes One to Know One Workbook Journal? If not, I'm going to need you to take your tail over to pusherlife.org. Go to the office link, hit that thing, and you will see It Takes One to Know One Workbook and Journal and People Pusher. Get your copy today. I don't want you to get it just to lay it on your table. I don't want you to get it just to put it with your collections. I want you to get this book so that you can work and journey alongside of me as we continue to initiate Sound the Alarm, healing 1 million people, one person at a time. But as I always say, I'm starting with me. I don't want you to follow me. I want you to heal with me. So I'm not just looking for anyone to pump me up or we just doing this thing just to be doing it. No, we're saying that we are doing the work. Forward, ever, backwards, never. We're tired of being stagnated. We're tired of being stuck. We're tired of finding ourselves on a hamster wheel going over. God didn't design us to be hamsters. And I know I am too cute to be a hamster. So why am I trying to live my life like a hamster and keep just going on riding on this wheel over and over and over again, and I'm getting the same results? I'm tired of being tired, and I'm dehydrated, need a drink of water. Why? Because I am using muscles that I ain't supposed to be investing my muscles in. And stuff and people and things. So come on, forward, ever, backwards, never. So I knew that this day was coming, and I never like to be the only one. I like to be able to push somebody, but sometimes you find yourself in a position where you have to push yourself. And because I sound the alarm and I said we are healing out loud, so let me continue my healing work. And so you in the chat that showed up on this evening, I want to thank you because you could be anywhere but here, and you chose to tap in. And so I appreciate you. I promise you that I will not waste your time. I do have something to say, and I want to bring some things to your tonight is about you. On this evening, it is about you, the ones that show up in the chat, the ones that show up to do the pushing, the ones that show up to do the praying, the ones that show up to want to take part, that does the encouraging. I'm telling you, every word that you put in the chat, it speaks to the people who receives it and who needs it. And I want you to know that I appreciate your time. I appreciate your words of encouragement. I appreciate holding those of us that said that we are taking this journey seriously, we know that this is individual work, but we are willing to do this in a collective manner. And I just want to say this is episode 17. So we are doing a recap. Why? Because we are on to something. And I don't know who this is for, but I want you to keep pushing. I know you got a dream. I know you got an aspiration. I know you got a thought. I know you got an idea. I don't know what you're waiting for. I know what I was waiting for. But sometimes you just got to do it afraid. Sometimes you just got to step out on faith and understand that faith is the substance of things hopeful. Let's stop at the hope. I don't know where I'm going. This is not what I wanted to do. But understand that your faith is based upon what you don't see, what you don't know. You're ignorant. You have no knowledge of. You're just hoping. You are creating the thoughts, the desires, the goals, the ideas. But in all reality, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't really know the manifestations. What we are doing is hoping. But what is your hoping? For so long, I've been waiting because I've been waiting on people. But when I found out that I am connected to the source, I stopped waiting on people. Because I found out that if I delight in the Lord, he will give me the desires of my heart and more. And so let's tap in and let's talk about this on tonight. And so everyone knows that if you know me, you know that one thing I do have is a good memory. I know when people are talking, I take notes, whether I'm writing or it is in my mental. But I have a good memory as it relates to my growth and development and what works for me. You know what works for me because I talk about it. I do not talk about things that does not work for me. Why? Because it does you no good. And I can't speak upon I'm not an expert of it because it did not work for me. So I only come to you whatever God has put into me. And I'm telling you on tonight, let me slow down because I'm a bit nervous and I don't want to be all over the place. But this is a recap. We are on to something, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm going to say it again. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. I always say forward ever, backwards never. I didn't just make that up. Someone spoke that in my life. I didn't make it up. I don't own it. I didn't go to sleep and God, spoke to me. It ain't nothing deep. Someone spoke that thing to me years ago and it stuck with me. And when you hear I am because you are, I didn't make that up. Marcus Garvey, through his writing and through his speaking, he would always remind us that I am because you are. And I adopted that from the same group of men that instilled in me forward ever, backwards never. And I so appreciate them because it has become a part of my life. I don't know where it is in their life today, but I know I'm still activated in it. I'm still pushing and I still lean on that. And so today I'm in a loving mood. So today, not only am I going to talk a little bit about it takes one to know one, but what I am going to do first is gift giving. I'm in the mood to give away gifts. When you hear the word gift or I have something for you, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Here, here for the first time feeling. I'm here for the first time feeling encouraged already. Well, girl, you are encouraging me. Hey, sister in love. Yes, Lori, I see you all the way from Atlanta. Thank you for tapping in. I need your energy. I need your strength on tonight. And so I don't want to waste your time, so I'm just going to keep on. And when I see you in the chat, I'm going to shout you. I'm going to stop if I can and shout you out. But I want to just remind you, those that been here from day one, yeah, I can finally say that. I got my day ones. I can finally say that. And then I got some real day ones. But no, as it relates to the people pusher show, I want to slow down. And I just want to take us on a journey. I just want to remind us, and I want to remind those that has been on the show how they have affected me personally. Remember, we healing out loud. So I want to take you on a journey. So I hope that you will oblige me just for a minute. And if you have questions, or if I'm moving, talking too fast, tell me slow down. Or if you feel like I'm rambling, tell me. Guess what? We are a family. We are a community of people. And I assure you, I am not one. I am humble enough to receive what you have to say, because it has been you pushing me. It has been you tapping in. It has been you keeping this thing going. Because whenever we start something, we find ourselves, God, is this really for me? Whenever we indulge in something that we're passionate about, and we know in our hearts that it's for us. Yes, girl, get out. Come on, girl. You moving too fast. Yes. So I guess that's my cue. So yes, I want to take you back to October the 23rd, 2024. Yes, I am. We are doing a recap. Why? Because we are on to something. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm going to tell you again. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. We're on to something. On October the 23rd, 2024, at approximately 6:30, was the first episode of The People Pusher. Number one. And if you missed that, I'm going to encourage you to go back to Trivia's Inspirational Radio and watch that episode. We on to something. The title was People Pusher. The way that I introduced myself, I did what I did. I did what I do out loud. And so I had a brave and courageous young lady that was willing to come on the show, published author, a passionate woman about healing women and men and children, anyone that comes across her path, passionate about adding to their physical healing. But then in the show, well, not the show, in the session, let's call it that, because we're not entertaining, we're healing out loud. She needed a push on that very episode, all the accolades and all the praise and all the things that we were saying, the things that she is doing. She found herself needing a push. And because she was so brave to be on this platform, as a community, we pushed her. And who did we push? The first episode. Well, her name is Malia, the phlebotomist. I'm going to give you an update without permission and with permission. This young lady has now decided to do something different. And that's all I'm going to say. Someday I'll bring her back for her to tell her own story. But what I will tell you, as a result of October the 23rd, come on now, y'all got to talk back to me, because y'all had something to do with this. And see, when you are in the God business, you're not just looking at the outside. See, understand, when you are about God business, all you do is just show up and be who God revealed to you. However you show up. But when you are positioned in a position to do his work, don't fumble it, because you don't know who is attached to you, who was on spiritual life support, and who needs you. So we're so busy looking at the surface. We're talking about the people pusher. Why they call me the people pusher. And I understand it ain't me, the person. No, I take no credit for it. the people pusher. October the 23rd, 2024. The first person on the session was Malia, who needed a push from the community. And she got that. Shout outs to Nada Barber. Number 2, I am not a Build-A-Bear. That episode, if you have not seen it, I'm going to encourage you to go back to Trivia Inspirational Radio and tap in. I am not a Build-A-Bear. You cannot shape and mold me into a little you. Understanding that there was a time that I was physically incarcerated and psychologically incarcerated. Nada Barber helped us recognize that. Yes, and I see you. Yes, shout, I see you. Malia is in the chat. Congrats, sis. But Nada Barber reminded us that incarceration, being locked up, being jailed, is not just a physical thing. We get so caught up in the word and we want to make our own and create our own definitions. But let me remind you of something. Whatever is original, it is what it is. You can dress it up. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But in its core, it still is what it is. See, we on to something. Somebody keep pushing, keep holding on, keep hoping. We on to something. Nada Barber reminded us that it's you who have to make the decision to be tired of being tired. It is you that have to make the decision to look in your own mirror. Stop judging people based upon their past. Stop judging people because they don't look like you. Stop judging people because they don't sound like you. Stop judging people because they don't want to take part in what you are taking part in. Nada Barber reminded us that I am not a Build-A-Bear. I am a reflection of the one who created me. And as I read and as my spirit received and believed, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. When I was created, I heard that not only is it finished, but it is good. Why would I want to imitate someone else? When I share the DNA of the King of Glory, make that make sense. See, we're so used to being on the surface. We're on to something. We're on to something. We exclude God out of so much of our lives because we think that it's so deep and we think that we got to show up a certain kind of way and we got to be and do well. Let me talk about me. I did. But Nada Barber reminded me, I don't have to be a Build-A-Bear. You know what a Build-A-Bear is. You go to the mall and you can get something and they will stuff it and create it and dress it to whatever you want. I got one. I should have brung it. I might go get it. I don't know. I am not a Build-A-Bear. Then we had Miss Jasmine, the tough one, on the third session. The tough one. I'm going to be tough. I'm going to show up because I know you're going to push me because I'm used to you. But I'm going to show up and I'm going to look the part. I'm going to answer the questions with poise. And it took one person in the chat to penetrate through her heart. And then there was the waterworks. Why is that important to acknowledge? Because we get so caught up in trying to look a certain type of way. I get so caught up in trying to look the part instead of recognizing that I am the part. Respectfully. Jasmine took us on a ride. And then we had to realize She had to realize it's already in me. Everything that people were saying in the chat, she was absorbing it until she realized for herself, it's already in me. These tears isn't tears of pain, it's tears of release. It's tears of joy. Because in this moment, I recognize that it's already in me. Why? Because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. It's already in me. Sometimes we just need a push. Sometimes we just need to be reminded. Thank you to Jasmine for showing up and being her authentic self and being so brave to heal out loud. Yes, Jasmine. Miss Jasmine has a cleaning company that actually, yes, shout out, because Jasmine was on the show. Jasmine got a few gigs. And Jasmine didn't get a few gigs just because she was on the show. Jasmine was able to get opportunities because someone seen her and someone recognized her passion. Someone recognized that she's just not a struggling mother. She is a strong woman that wants to figure it out and doing it afraid. Yes. She just needed the push and she got it from you. It's already in me. Then we had the amazing Miss Ashley. I'm going to have to bring her back. I'm going to bring her back for my own personal reasons. But Miss Ashley came on into a session, Silent No More. If you missed that episode, I'm going to encourage you to go back to Trivia Inspirational Radio and tap in. Why? Because even in the midst of all the many things that Jane of all trades is out here in the city of Baltimore doing, she recognized something about herself. And when she recognized that thing, she exposed it out loud. And from that day forth, her language has changed. So today, ask her who she is. She's not going to say, I don't know. She's not going to tell you, somebody say, yes, please bring her back. Yes, I am. I'm going to, because she has something to say. Well, I have something to say to her, and I want to say it out loud. But yeah, she reminded us, not only do we have the right to remain silent, but we got to know when we have the right to speak. Balance that thing out. I know that you're smart. I know that you are intelligent. I know that you always have something to say. But let me be the first to tell you, sweetie pie. I did, Mrs. Prince. I told her to stop saying, I don't know. By the end of the show, indeed, she had to tap in and confess. We talking about the people pusher. We talking about the journey, healing 1 million people, one person at a time. But I'm starting with me. And the way we doing it is we doing a recap. We on to something. I don't know who need to hear this, but I'm going to say it again. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. It's a difference from being on a hamster wheel and pushing. When you're on a hamster wheel, you're going round and round and around and around. But when you pushing in any direction you want to go in. It's your choice. Shout outs to Jane of all trades for reminding us that no matter where we find ourselves on the spectrum, entrepreneurship, we can be the leaders of all leaders. We can be on the bottom of the totem pole. It does not matter. None of us is exempt from not really knowing. But because she was brave to own that and to stop it once she recognized it. That was you in the chat. You who showed up, your words of encouragement, the love that you begin to pour out. We talking about healing out, letting people know that real healthy relationships exist. Why it's important to have a village. It exists. We on to something. And then we moved on to difficult conversations, and this was one of the most hardest. This was the first difficult session for me. Why? Because it was one of my uncles who showed up, and we in fact had to do a part 2. So he showed up one week, and the following week he showed up for difficult conversations part 2. And we out loud in front of everyone had to have a difficult conversation. And if you need, I beg you to watch that episode. You can't find it. The only place you're going to find that episode is on Facebook, Pushing Forward. That's where that episode is lingering. Why am I encouraging this? Because we had a difficult conversation where we had to forgive, where I shared my disappointment and he received it in love, where he spoke his truth and I listened. Neither one of us made excuses. Neither one of us tried to make each other feel better, because we recognize that this journey isn't about how we feel. So reconciliation began to take place. It was already taking place. You just was able to witness 2 people have a difficult conversation and walk away, understanding, forward ever, backwards never. How dare I hold anything ill against you, and I am imperfect. Understanding that unforgiveness comes from your perspective. Understand that unforgiveness comes from what you think, feel, and believe. And I'll be the first to admit that I am not greater than God. And if God's grace is sufficient, then who am I to withhold it from anyone else? Especially when I am aware. We on to something. So to my uncle Richie, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this journey of healing 1 million people, one person at a time, because you know I'm always starting with me. Then there was yours truly, me. I can't even tell you what I talked about. I don't remember. I don't even know on that what I talked about, but I know it was just me on that episode. Matter of fact, what day? It was December the 4th. December the 4th. I don't know. And I'm not even going to try. All I know, PUS'HER. You see it in the background? That's what it was about. I'm funny. Where y'all at in the chat? This is nerve-wracking. Then on December the 11th, I revealed to everyone one of my OGs from the penitentiary. Now, y'all know I have been incarcerated for 22 years, and y'all are not the only people I know. There is some people that has been a part of my journey that when God puts them in my space or in my vision, in my sight, I have to say thank you. And her session was about being a fisher of men. And she reminds me of a fisher, because we all, the young people, always gravitated towards her. She never judged. She always smiling. Oh, but when she don't play, though, she don't play. And she always told you like it is. And she is the only person that held me accountable and did it in love. Anytime she seen me misbehaving, she would always pull me to the side and say, I see you. She would always, every now and then, like, girl, get it together. Every now and then. But she never stopped caring. She never stopped, participating in my life. But yet she still did her due diligence and put me in my place every now and then, especially when she felt like I was getting out of hand, a fisher of men. She did it in love, while still in her dark place, while still in her journey, while still doing her time, while still trying to cope with being in prison. Yet, somehow, some way, she still impacted my life. And I thank you, Miss Kylie, for that. I do. You can find her around Tuesday. She is everywhere. You look up any room, you may see her in every room. Definitely out here in the city of Baltimore doing it. And then after that, I had all the people on my show to come back to the experience. It was one of the most amazing experiences I had since October the 23rd, because I had the privilege to have everyone back except 2 people. Ashley, Jane of all trades, and Richie wasn't on there, but everybody else was on there. And we just, talked. We brought in the holiday together. We actually closed out 2024. Isn't that something? It might go over y'all head, but every now and then I got to go back to the beginning to understand the now. We on to something. I don't know who needs to hear it, but keep pushing. Then after we did the holiday show, we took a little break. It was Christmas and it was New Year's. We took the little break, and I just want to give a shout out to all the people who I ever told that I would never get on a plane and I would never get on a boat, body of water. I've always said that. While I spent my holidays in Texas, honey, and to get there, I had to get on a plane. And I did that. Me and Key got on a plane and went to Texas, and that's where we spent our holidays. And so shout out to, oh man, where's my piece of paper? I seen you in the chat. Can you put your business up on the chat, please? Because I need to give a shout out. And I know what y'all are doing, so I need to see it accurately, because I want the people to be able to experience. Okay. Someone, can Bree B. Oliver. Oh, speak on forgiveness and unforgiveness. This is good. What in particular do you want me to speak in? I will stop this whole thing just for you. Understand that. So I need somebody to find what platform B. Oliver is on. And I need you to push her so that we can talk about forgiveness and unforgiveness. How much time do I got? Somebody in the chat, keep me straight. I ain't got my glasses on. Hold up. Let me see. 25 minutes. Okay, Miss Bree. Founder. See, that's why I got the best chat in the world. I got the best village in the world. I do. Miss Bree, let me give you. So because I talked about my uncle and we already shared, and that session is only on Facebook. Pushing Forward. You will find it is in my live feed. But I'm just going to just kind of give you what we talked about. And this is the power of forgiveness. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what unforgiveness do. But because I like to heal all out, I'm going to talk about my own stuff. because you said it is good. For so long, I was angry. For so long, I was hurt. I was confused. I didn't understand. See, I got some of my uncles. Let's just say that I looked up to all of my uncles, but there were a few uncles that I kind of gravitated towards, and I kind of put expectations on as a teenager, being out there. And I know that they had certain experiences. And 22 years in prison, and you're looking for them, and you can't find them. You're looking for them to give you some information. You're looking for them to show up because you know that they've been there and done that a few times. I was angry. And out loud, I had the opportunity to share it in private and in public. It was more for me than it was for him. But then as I sit here and think about it, it was more for the both of us. Because although I had did the work, I never had the difficult conversation. Because fear creeps in and you don't know how people are going to receive it. But because I want to be healed, I asked him to forgive me. See, I went into the conversation not looking for anything. I went into the difficult conversation asking him to forgive me. Even though he may not know, all these years, the resentment, all these years, feeling like unloved, feeling unwanted, feeling abandoned, feeling misunderstood, feeling like I am unworthy for these particular people to participate in my life. I had to go to him and ask him to forgive me for holding you hostage in a place that you didn't know you were in. I had to give myself permission to let that thing go. Why? Because as an adult, I am accountable for what I think, feel, and believe. See, as a child, I'm not held accountable because I'm ignorant. I am innocent. But at some point, it comes a time where you're gonna have to reverse that thing. Stop looking for people that you believe and that you think that hurt you. Stop looking for them to show up to make it right. And you take your power back and make it right. Why? Because you can live your life not forgiving people and they have moved on. They have forgot about it. They never thought about it because they never been aware. And you still got a hard heart. Your heart is still cold. Your attitude still flares when you hear their name or when you see them because you remember when. And I'm saying, think back in your life. This is for everybody. Think back in your life when you gave somebody an attitude, when you cussed, when you didn't show up the best version of yourself, when you was having an off day. Think of those times. Didn't you need grace? Even you as a child, mothers, I'm talking to the mothers for a minute. Mothers, even when you yourself was a child, when you was a teenager, were you perfect? Did you need grace? Did you need somebody to understand? Did you? Oh, now I know it's some of y'all out there that y'all had it. I'm only talking to the people that grew up feeling like they were unworthy, that grew up feeling unloved, that grew up lost in their identity. I'm talking to them people. Those of you that had it together, you tap in and push us because we need you. See, I come from a place where we didn't talk about forgiveness and unforgiveness and unconditional love and love. We didn't talk about that. We talked about how when you leave out this house, how you should look. When you are around people, how you should speak. We on to something. Understand forgiveness is for you. You got to do the work inside of you. How do you do that? Get the book. It Takes One to Know One workbook and journal. Get the book and we can do it together because it's a process. And some of us need that 1-2 step. Some of us need that nursery rhyme ABCD. I get my nephew Jace to sing the song for us, ABCDEFG, because he is on it. But some of us need that. And if you're anything like me, holla at your girl. Go to pusherlife.org. Go to the author's link and get It Takes One to Know One workbook and journal so that we can walk this thing out together. Because that is what this is about. Okay, I think I'm back adjusted. I'm here. You speak about your okay. Malia, I hear you. I hear you. My God, this is everything. Thank you. Yes, God is everything. And when you get that peace, healing is happening now for me by participating. I didn't get the rest. Michelle, amen. Malia, I need somebody to push B. Arver in the chat. Facts. Let's talk about it. Yes. Why? Yes. I have the book for you. On tonight, I am going to give you the book. But you got to come to me to get it. So I hope you ain't in Atlanta. I hope you ain't across the globe. Because I ain't getting back on the plane for a minute. But if you are in the city of Baltimore, I will tell you where to meet me at. And you will get your signed copy. I have it for you so that we can begin to do the work. That's what this thing is about. And because now I feel a release, I can move forward. But I want you to understand that unforgiveness cripples you. Unforgiveness stagnates you. Unforgiveness keeps you on a hamster wheel that we talked about earlier. You're going round and around, and you're going around by yourself. The people that you're mad at, that you're angry with, they are out there. They probably jamming right now. They doing their thing. They not even, I don't mean to sound insensitive. But when we don't have the difficult conversations, and when we're not able to have the difficult conversations, because there's some people in my life that I'm never going to have a conversation with, and I'm at peace with that. There's some people that are gone. It's too late. But today I live, I heal out loud. And I'm telling you, 22 years confined in the Maryland State Prison. You can either do your time or you can let your time do you. Choose what side of the spectrum you want to be on. And I decided to figure this thing out for myself. It wasn't easy. But I realized that I had to let go. I had to forgive myself. I had to begin to honor myself. That's why once I began to look at me, I didn't think about nobody else. While in my transformation, I am not going to lie to you. Nobody was in my intimate space internally. Nobody. It was just me and God, and I thugged that thing out. It was ugly. It didn't smell good. And it didn't look good. I had all this toxicity that had to come out. I mean that, literally. And once God began to purge me, and once I began to be honest, see, you got to get to a place when you can look in the mirror and whatever you see, you can give that thing an identity. See, that's why tonight is important. While we doing a recap, because I believe in giving things an identity. Because when you give something an identity, it becomes real. It becomes an organism. Pusher is a movement. We're doing a work. We're not just showing up, drinking tea and eating crumpets. Sometimes we're snotting and crying. Sometimes we fussing. Sometimes we screaming. Why? Because this is real life. And we want to be whole, stable, and solid. And we understand it takes work. And sometimes we don't want to work. But you got to go inward and you got to start inward. It's not going to make sense if you try to do it any other way. It got to start with you. Yes, we're doing this initiative, healing 1 million people, one person at a time. But what do I always say? I'm starting with me. Why? Because I got to be accountable for me. I got to show up for me. But we're doing it collectively. Why? Because I recognize I'm not the only fish in the water. We come to a place where we recognize that we need each other. There are people out here that's really saying ain't no village. You can't find no group of people that's really sincere. And I'm like, well, where do y'all live at, in a bubble? Encourage them. So real quickly, we brung the new year in back with with Mr. Anthony Prince. My picker is broken. I need you to go back and watch that. My picker is broken. See, we're still talking about forgiveness and unforgiveness. I need you to hear it. My picker is broken. Someone said Miss Prince said she will buy the book. Be a book, Sade. Give Carlita her address. Wow, look at that. I love my village. I can keep my book. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, April. Yes, Michelle, I see you. Denise Evans, it's never too late to seek forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you, and it is not contingent upon acceptance from the other person. Forgiveness is you letting go of the anger and resentment in order to heal. Yes, it is for you. Thank you, Kawana. I so appreciate this. Yes. Why? Because we recognize it takes a village. God loves you so much. He will stop. He will stop everything just for you until you get it. And now that you got it, we can move on. That's what this thing is about. We're like we got to become like firefighters for God. Firefighters don't get an option to choose when they hear the alarm because they already got the assignment. How did they get the assignment? They did the training. And because they passed the training, now they get the assignments. When you do the work internally, God gives you the assignment real clear because it's already in you. But see, when your picker is broken, you can't see it. You can't receive it. Why? Because you got to go inward. You're giving too much access of yourself to people who are undeserving, and God is saying, here I am. When your picker is broken, it's just a reminder you need to go back to the source. You need to go inward. You need to have a conversation with God. That's all that means. And then from this gentleman, I need a push. We had Miss Joy B, who just had to text me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we need to do this. She needed a leader, a community leader, a community activist, a radio show host on What's Up Baltimore. She showed up saying community. I needed a push. And as a community, we did that. Not only did she write one letter to her 13-year-old self, she wrote 2 letters to her 13-year-old self. Not only did she did that, but now she's working on her book. Finally. Doing the things that God has commissioned her to do, because now she is out her own way. Why? Because she showed up, looked needing just a little push. In the community, the village showed up for her. I need you to I need you to understand how important you are to those that you encounter, even through the chat. Come on, we are on to something. I don't know who need to hear this, but keep pushing. Somebody give me a time check. Then we did a part 2 because people demanded we need her to come back. And so we did a part 2. I need a little push. And we would have did a part 3 if there wasn't a release, but we did that thing as a village, as a community. As a community, we did that for each other. Shout outs to What's Up Baltimore, Conversations with Miss Joy B, who I am often sitting across from on her platform, on her show, sharing. This recap session was for me today. I'm Terry. Thank you for allowing God to speak through you to me, Miss Pusher. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tapping in. And I want you to stay in. And I want you to commit to your own growth and development, because this is not about me. This is about you. Then it was your girl Pusher. Now, I remember this episode because it was a couple weeks ago. And let me remind you, it was actually on January the 29th on a Wednesday. What do? I was broke for a second. I needed I needed my village. I was hurt. When you got all the answers, when you know what to do, what do you do? And I'm excited to share with you. I did that. I showed up to my next part. And what we do, we went to poetry. Shout outs to the poetry party. And we got up there and did our thing. And y'all, those of you who do not know me, I don't like to share my poetry out loud. And I didn't. I just spoke from my heart. My poetry don't rhyme, but I have something to say. I only speak when I have something to say. And today I have something to say. If you want to check that out, you can go on TikTok and find that, or you can go on Facebook and find a clip, because I did clip it. But we did that. I left out of here empowered. I still felt how I felt. I was still emotional, but it wasn't overtaking me. I was empowered. I still showed up and fulfilled my commitments and spoke to them people. They didn't know what I just went through. They didn't know that I had to purge right before. They wasn't here tapped in. It was the village. We on to something. We are on to something. And then I'm celebrating me, Miss Tyra. Miss Tyra, I'm celebrating me on her birthday. Had the nerve to come with the pusher on her birthday to get pushed. But we celebrated her. Because that's what it was about. Not only do we push it, it doesn't always have to feel bad. We're not always crying. Well, yes, we are. We are crybabies. Yes, we are. We are always purging, or on the verge of purging. Even if it's just joy, we're overjoyed. Even if we are just excited. But yes, we are crying. I turned it. I'm not a crybaby. I'm a G. I don't be doing a whole bunch of crying. It takes a lot for me to cry. But anyway, we celebrated her. We gave her flowers as we pushed her into her excellence, to remind her that celebrating, understand that Tyra shared with us that she found it difficult to celebrate herself. And I know so many of us, we find ourselves in that place feeling like, well, I don't want to do too much, because then they'll say I'm arrogant. I don't want to do too much, because then if you don't celebrate you, who will? If you don't celebrate you, I wake up every morning before I start complaining, but I wake up every morning celebrating the fact that I wake up in my right mind and I still got the activity of my limbs. I do it more now intentionally, because there was a time when it was threatened. But Tyra reminded us, small goals, huge goals, big goals, it don't matter. Goals, a thought, an idea. Celebrate that thing. Why? Because it's already in you. Why? Because you got hope. Why? Because you're still in the land of the living. Why? Because the fullness of joy, that's worth celebrating. That every day I get to wake up to brand new mercies. Because understand, I operate in my imperfections. I know that I might not get it right with the 24 hours, an hour out of or 2 hours out of the 25. I might roll my eyes. I might become sarcastic. I might yield to my flesh. I just might. And because I make room for error, really, I'm just making room for God to continue to do the work in me. Understand, celebrate yourself. It's important to do that, because when you celebrate yourself, what you are doing is motivating yourself. And you begin to learn, one day you're going to look back and realize that you ain't looking for nobody to validate you. One day you're going to look back and realize, wait a minute, I gave myself permission. You know what you like. Teach yourself how to handle you, and then people will in turn fall in line. Thank you, Tyler, for blessing us. And then we had, it was by popular demand, then we had Tyra, Miss Joy B, and Mona to come back to talk about It Takes One to Know One, workbook and journal. And it was amazing. We talked about the impact of It Takes One to Know One, workbook and journal. And I'm not going to go all into what was talked about, because I need you to go back and watch and like. And if you have yet to subscribe. It's free. If you have it, like that button right there, the little thumb, like it. It's free. We doing something. We are on to something. And so, as always, I appreciate you for showing up. I appreciate you for giving me your ear. I appreciate you going down this journey with me, because sometimes you got to go back to the beginning to understand the now. If you just trust the process, I assure you the breakthrough is coming. I assure you manifestation is coming. I assure you the desires of your heart will be granted. I assure you, just go through the process. Don't look for a way of an escape. Don't look for a shortcut. Go through the process. I know sometimes it look rough. I know sometimes I'm talking to myself. See, it takes one to know one. And I can't see y'all, but I can see me. So I'm talking to myself. I appreciate my 40 subscribers. I appreciate the 37 people that tapped in and took the pledge. See, I'm not impressed with the numbers I used to be, but we are on to something. To the 37 people who took the pledge, healing 1 million people, one person at a time. And I assure you that some of these people I probably don't know, but I appreciate the 37 that took the pledge, that it isn't just talking about it, but just did it. Because what you did was made a commitment to yourself. And you said you are willing to go through the process collectively. Raven said, you just being you is inspiration in itself to me. I appreciate you being unapologetically you. From the time I laid my eyes on you, you've been one of the 2 favorite ladies in my life. And guess what, girl? It's because of you. I am because you are. The first person that taught me unconditional, she was my rider. I ain't going to get into my stuff. But I love you. I do. How do we take the pledge? Go to pusherlife.org. You will see the link. Healing 1 million people, one person at a time. Take the pledge if you are serious about your growth and development. And we will journey this thing together. And then someday, because God's going to give me the desires of my heart, we all will be in one room together, celebrating out today, out right now. Take the pledge. Get the book, work, and do it. Don't just get it, do the work. If you don't want to do the work, give it to somebody who needs it. We're not doing this because it sounds good. We're not doing this. And shout out to Brianna. And so let me brag for a minute. Brianna Brinkley, you all might not know her, but she was just released from prison. Hasn't been home 30 days, and she was the first donor of the People Pusher show. Donated She showed up last week for the first time, and I looked and I'm like, then I posted her celebrating her, and she inboxed me and said, I don't have much, but what I could give, I gave. I don't know if she want me to share it, so I'm not going to share, but the first donor. And understand that what she gave excited my heart. Why? Because if you are faithful over a few things, God will make you ruler over many. So I know how to appreciate what I have versus be distracted by what I don't have. And so, Miss Brianna, as the pusher and the pusher community, we appreciate you. We really do. Michelle Fitzgerald, I love you back, and there's nothing that you could do about it. So I hope that we were reminded of something on this evening. But this is my time. We started on time, and I like to end on time. I see you next week, Wednesday at 6:30, same day, same time. This is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. No, really. Say that thing out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. Bring a friend next week. I'm telling you, we're on a journey. We never know how this thing is going to go, but I appreciate you that showing up for me and tapping in. I thank you all. Miss BR said, I can't wait for next week and the next and the next. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have made my heart warm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is my time. It's your girl Pusher.